It is another tough day for the Ford family, with allegations of drug abuse swirling around Rob Ford, Toronto's mayor. Now there are allegations about his older brother, Councillor Doug Ford. The Globe and Mail published a front-page article today alleging that Doug Ford was involved in the drug trade as a young man. The story quotes unnamed sources to whom CBC News does not have access. The CBC cannot verify the accuracy of the article. Today, Doug Ford is vigorously defending himself and his family, and he joins me now. Thanks so much for joining us here on CBC News Network.
Thank you.
So, of course, let's start with the reaction, the fresh new allegations today in this national newspaper linking you, along with several members of your family, to the drug trade. What's your reaction? What do you think about it? Have you read the entire article?
I have.
Yeah?
It's absolutely false. These folks want to come after our character, Asha. I'll tell you about my character and about our family's character. Ever since being in Etobicoke for over 50 years, all we've done is give back to that community. I started with Rotary when I was 21 years old. I was the president in 6 years. I ended up with a Paul Harris Fellow Award for outstanding service. I'm the only politician that I'm aware of that has donated his salary, donated his time for the last 4 years. I'd like to ask our critics, you know, put yourself in my shoes. I have 4 young kids. I don't condone drugs. I don't condone drug use. I fight against it in our ward. I have programs out of my own pocket that have helped youth in Rexdale to get out of gangs, to get out of drugs.
And we want to ask you the questions directly, though, because you want to defend your character here. So have you ever done illegal drugs?
Yeah, when I was 16, 17, 18, I smoked marijuana. And if that's the end of the world, this is the best they have, 30 years. They go back 30 years, spend 2 years to come up with this?
What about
You got to be kidding me. I guess a derivative of marijuana.
So
same difference.
Right, so you've done hashish, but...
yeah, but, you know, again, I got to ask you. You grew up, I'm sure you smoked pot once in a while. Come on, let's cut to the chase. You have.
But what about the dealing, apparently, at your school?
Absolutely. You know,
back in the day, in the 1980s, you never...
let me tell you something. Did I go out and buy a joint or buy a couple joints? Similar, I'm sure you or someone else has. You know, when we were young, 30 years ago, I think journalism has hit an all-time low. They go after someone's character. They can't go after our record. We have the strongest fiscal record in North America when it comes to running a large city. We've saved the taxpayers $1 billion. And this is what they have. Do you put yourself in my shoes with your kids or with your mother, waking up and trying to explain it to the kids, even they're uncollaborated people. Uncollaborated people that don't want to come forward. Why not?
What's
because they called 200 people and they found 10 people?
Yeah, they say they have 10 anonymous sources that grew up with you.
That called me for 2 years. People have been calling me as far away from BC saying they have outlandish comments.
Do you sue?
Are
you going to sue?
Can I sue? Yeah. Do I have the means to sue? Yeah. I can have the means to sue. Can I go up against the Thompson family worth $30 billion? I've talked to people that have sued the Globe and Mail. They'll drag it out to 3 to 5 years. Just try to ruin your family.
And you don't think it's worth it?
You know, what, over smoking a marijuana joint when I was a teenager?
Well, not smoking it, but they say you were dealing
They're accusing me of dealing hashish when I was 18 years old?
It's not worth it to sue?
Can I go back and sue them? Sure I can. Do I want to be dragged through this? When I donate my time, I work 18, when I say 18 hours a day to give back, 7 days a week, my phone was ringing at 5 o'clock in the morning. The kids went out for a jog at 6:30 and the media were out there. Is it really worth it?
I want to get to one last question, though. In the Globe editorial today, it says that they contacted you several times over the course of this investigation, and you declined to comment.
Actually, that's not true, once again.
Okay.
I sat down with their editor, and I told them that this is outrageous, what they're doing. They were full steam ahead. They have to outstar the star. It's the same readership. Their newspapers are getting hurt in this city. There's 4 dailies, the only city in North America. The Star's profits were down 62%, they reported. Their circulation has dropped. They're hurting. They have to sell newspapers. Is this the tabloid trash, the business folks that read the Globe and Mail? Is this what they want? John Stackhouse that approved this? I think you're a disgusting man. You want to hurt someone's family? You want to hurt my kids? Hurt me? Go after me on what I've done politically.
Well, let's talk about your brother, the mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford. We all know it's been 8 days since the allegations surfaced of that video allegedly showing your brother smoking crack cocaine. He came out and he said he does not do crack cocaine.
That's correct.
His wording, though, a lot of people, many Toronto citizens, questioning the wording. Why specifically did he say, and I quote, "I've never used crack cocaine"? They say that that's a tricky wording. It's not strong enough.
Okay, well, guess what?
Why didn't he say I've never used crack cocaine?
Can I tell you something?
Why didn't he say that?
Okay, Asha, let me tell you straight out. I've never in my entire life that I've been with my brother ever have seen him use crack cocaine. Simple.
So why didn't he come out and say, "I've never done it"? A lot of people wonder why he didn't just flat out say, "I didn't, I never, ever."
The reason it took Rob 8 days, you have your legal advisors on both sides of the country telling you one thing, and they're probably some of the best in the country. And then you have your political advisors telling you other things. And finally, Rob came out with his heart, and no matter what we wrote, it would never be perfect for the media. They'll always have this agenda to try to bury us. I got a question. What have we ever done wrong outside of serving the people, giving back to the community?
What was the reasoning behind that legal strategy, though, to say a statement that doesn't really give, the be-all and end-all, "I have never used it"?
We could state it anyway, and I'd be standing here, and you'd be tweaking every single word.
So you're saying it's semantics?
There's 50% of the people that want to politically kill Rob and myself. Right. And I'd even go maybe not politically, even further. If I was walking across the street and one of the lefties were driving, I'd make sure I jumped on the sidewalk. Because you know why? We've stopped the social elites that have run this city for 50 years, that have had all their backroom deals and all their land deals. We represent the blue-collar folks of this country.
Okay, here's another question, and a lot of Toronto residents, again, some city councillors asking this as well. He gave the statement, he read the statement, didn't take any questions, left the room, and you picked up and answered questions. Why didn't he stay to do a Q&A with the media?
You know, you never satisfy the media. I've learned this. Never.
But why wouldn't he do that? Like, you're coming out now, you know, these fresh allegations came out. You've been doing, you know, the rounds, the media rounds.
That's right.
And you've said this is an outright lie. Why hasn't your brother, the mayor of Toronto, done exactly the same thing?
When you accuse something of someone 30 years ago, there's a bigger, I know, but hold on.
The alleged video was 6 months ago in terms of the allegations against the mayor.
The alleged video. Where's this video?
Right.
Do you believe that we should be dealing with extortionists? Do you believe that they should be dealing with drug dealers? Isn't there a crime in the U.S. and Canada about laundering money across the country?
Right, and I've heard you say this, but
this is what they're doing. They're auctioning off how much you can donate.
Right, but why didn't your brother stay and answer the questions from the media and just put this to rest once and for all? A lot of people don't want to see this go on. They want city council to get back to business. So why didn't he just take all the questions,
first of all, they
answer them, and leave it be?
They were complaining for 8 days he didn't speak to the media.
Yes.
He spoke to the media. He made a statement. And right now, once we make the statement, again, the legal advice that we're getting, go out, make the statement.
But he didn't answer questions. But I need to hear from you why he didn't answer questions.
These are serious, Asha. That's all right.
Yeah, that's really what I want to hear.
These are serious allegations.
They are very serious. I agree.
Rob made a statement. We're following our legal advice.
Okay.
And that's about as clear as I can be. Do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to go to the people. Why doesn't the province, even though they're in scandals worth billions of dollars, and they bought the election, they stole the election, they should be in jail for spending $1 billion of taxpayers' money. Why don't we go to the people? I got an idea. Why don't we have one election, provincially and citywide, and we'll let the people decide. We'll put our record, because they can't go after our record. They want to go after our family, my kids, my mother. Why don't we go to the people?
I'll step down
tomorrow. I'll step down tomorrow.
Will the mayor step down tomorrow?
Listen, if the rest of the council, yes. The mayor and the whole council steps down tomorrow, we will go to the people. They have this big of a problem. Let's step down tomorrow, the council and mayor, and I'm asking the premier, call a citywide election, even though you've been unelected, and you have more scandals than you shake a stick at.
For a by-election, though, it does take the mayor resigning and stepping down, and then a by-election can be called. Have you talked about that with your brother?
I would do it in a heartbeat, and I know Rob would. Let's go to the people. But
so are you saying right now
I'm
that's
saying
what you're
the whole
doing?
council.
Okay.
Because these councillors, all they want to do is tax people, vote against their own people, like the people in Scarborough that have been waiting, 650,000 of them, for two-tier transit system out there. That's what their own people voted against them. So why don't we hold them accountable too?
Let me be clear. What you're saying is the whole council should step down
let's call
a by-election.
Let's do it. Go to the people. Is that not democracy?
Will that be something you discuss with your brother then?
Rather than the media, it's up to the province. We're a branch of the province. But they disagree. They just prog the parliament. They just walk out.
What do you think of some of your fellow city councillors, like Mary Margaret McMahon, who says perhaps the mayor should do a drug test and that would clear things up?
Well, I got an idea. Why don't they all do a drug test?
All the city councillors.
Yeah, why doesn't every politician in the country?
But
Come on,
the mayor
let's be fair.
is the biggest factor on council, right? The biggest figure.
Listen, Asha, there's one rule for the Fords down there, right? And there's another rule for everyone else. Let's admit it. So why don't they go out, and why don't they all do a drug test? Why don't we make sure how much people are drinking and driving at night?
But at this point, there's no alleged video now involving other city councillors, and it's the mayor. He's the head of the fourth largest city in North America.
Guess what? I could make up an alleged video, accuse someone, and say, guess what? I don't have a video. Is that what journalism has come to now in this city? Yes, it has.
CBC News hasn't seen the video. We cannot validate the claims. It's just according to three journalists,
just throw out an allegation,
Asha,
and just let it roll and try to destroy someone's life. That's the way journalists have gone in this city. Journalism has changed. It's gutter, sleazy journalism. And people are fed up with it. I can assure you, I'm getting the calls.
What happens now then?
Well, we move forward. We have to move forward. The same people that said he couldn't save the money, we found the money. The same unions that said they couldn't do it, we're the only administration that had 4 years of labor peace. Development, we have more cranes in this city than all the major cities in the U.S. combined. I don't know what more. And they said about tourism, it made me laugh. When Rob Ford was elected, my God, people will stop coming to Toronto. Well, guess what? People haven't stopped. We set a record in Toronto with 9 million hotel rooms sold. Never been done. We have hammered every record in this city that exists right now.
And you're here, and we wanted to make sure that you are able to defend yourself and talk about the work you've done, both you and your brother, for the city. But I do want to know, you've retained a lawyer who's been quoted in these articles.
That's
the mayor retained a lawyer quoted in the articles a week ago, more than a week ago now. Why have a lawyer? Why listen to this lawyer's advice if you have nothing to hide?
Well, again, I have nothing to hide.
And your brother, if there's nothing to hide, why?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
When someone's reputation is on the line, when they put my reputation on the line, when I'm a business owner, it's my reputation. The more people I've talked to about suing the media, how can you sue a conglomerate like CBC? Yeah, you probably could. And then to be dragged through the mud for 5 years? How can the little Fords here sue the Thompson family indirectly? They own 85% of the company. And they're a great family. Do they know what this is the journalism that they practice? How would the Thompson family, like if I went out and accused them something? They have $30 billion. I don't have $30 billion to fight the Thompson family.
Some say your family is pretty influential, though, and you could get somewhere with a lawsuit.
No, it doesn't matter. I've talked to people that are more influential than us that have sued the Globe and Mail, and it took them 5 years in hell to go through.
Right.
I don't need this job.
So
I don't need to be doing this.
Is it business
I do it for the people.
Is it business as usual at Toronto City Hall come Monday?
Absolutely. And then people say, oh, it can't be done. Last week, folks, let me remind you of something. They wanted to come forward and raise taxes, gas tax, car registration tax, every tax they could tax the air you breathe. and oh, they're going to raise tax. Guess what? We came to council, 35 of them bailed out, voted against no taxes, because guess what? The only power we have are the people of Toronto. And when the people of Toronto don't want us, I can step aside tomorrow in a heartbeat and have the best life there ever is. But when I go up and I meet people on the street and I can't repeat what they tell me about the media, just keep focused and keep going. You're doing a great job. There's one thing about Rob and I can't say this about every politician, no one can buy the Fords. We're there for the people. I'm not there for myself. I have no agenda. I can assure you that.
And you do.
I work my backside off for the people.
And we know, and we've spoken with Ford supporters as well, so you do have your supporters. We wish you and your family the best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us here on CBC News Network.
Thank you.
Toronto City Councillor Doug Ford responding to today's Globe and Mail article alleging that he was involved in the drug trade as a young man. We need to repeat again, the story quotes unnamed sources to whom CBC News does not have access, and the CBC cannot verify the accuracy of the article.